Okay, fifth graders, homework tonight. Very much like we've been working on the last week or so. If our denominators are the same, all we have to do is add across, so we'll keep our denominator 5. Add our numerators, 3 plus 1 is 4, and we get 4/5. Denominators are the same, so we'll keep it 8. Add our numerators, 3 plus 1 is 4. Now this one, remember it did say simplest form. We talked about that in class. When I look at 4 and 5 over here, I can't divide 5 by 2 and get an even number. I get a decimal. And I can't divide 4 by 5. It just won't work. So this one is truly in simplest form. This one, however, I can divide it by 2 over 2. I could also divide it by 4 over 4. If I did by 2 over 2, it would work. I would just need to do it again. By dividing by 4 over 4, I can do it faster. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So I get 1/2. And it makes sense because when I think back, 4/8 is the same as half. It's just simplest form. This one I have 3 add-ins, but I'm gonna approach it in just the same way. All the denominators are the same, so I keep it with 3. And then I add my numerators, 2, 4, 6, and I get 6/3. I do need to reduce this one. Remember, this is the same as divided by, so 6 divided by 3 is 2 whole numbers. And I could even write it that way, 6 divided by 3, and I know that would equal 2. Just a different way of writing divided by. Numerator is 7, or I'm sorry, denominator 7, so we'll keep it the same. And we'll add our numerators. 3 plus 5 is 8, and we need to do some regrouping here. I can take 7 out of 7 out, and that will equal 1. If I take 7 out of this one, I have 1 left over, and I keep my denominator 7. So 1 and 1/7 for that one. Again, I can just add across because I have the same denominators, 10, and this time I get 7 plus 7 is 14. I'm looking for a 10 out of 10 so that I can take 1 out. And if I take 10 out of 10 out for that 1, that leaves me 4 left over. And I keep my denominator the same, so my denominator will stay 10. 4/10 can be reduced because I can divide both of them by 2. And if I do that, I would get 2/5. So my final answer would be 1 and 2/5. This one, I keep my same denominator of 9, and I just add my numerators. 5 plus 7 is 12. And I need to change this because I can get 9 out of 9. Sometimes I can even do it 2. If this had been 18, I could do 2. But 9 out of 9, and I get 1. And when I do that, I get 3 left over. So I get 1 and 3/9. Well, 1 and 3/9 can be reduced. 3/9 can be reduced to, I can divide both of these, sorry. I'm skipping a step. I can divide these both by 3 over 3. 3 over 3, 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So 3/9 and 1/3 are equivalent fractions, and I can keep my 1 whole. I'll just rewrite it as 1 and 1/3 for a final answer. My next one now, I don't have the common denominator, so I need to do a little bit of regrouping. So I'm going to change this to an equivalent fraction, and I'm going to call this, I'm going to multiply them both by 2. 3 times 2 is 6, 2 times 2 is 4. So I'm going to cross this one out because I've got an equivalent fractions. Now that I've got that, hold on. So now that I have that same denominator of 6, I can just add my numerators together. 4 plus 1 is 5. And this one is already in simplest form because I can't reduce it anymore. This one, trying to find a common denominator, I can't change 3 to equal 5. I can't change 5 to equal 3, so I need to change both of them. And I'm going to go for a common denominator of 15. Lots of times, if you multiply the 2 denominators together, you get your common denominator. So let's make this one 15. 3 times 5 was 15, so 2 times 5 would be 10. There's my equivalent. And 2/5, if I multiply it by 2 over 2, I can get 4/10. So now I can add them. Uh-oh, I needed it over 5. What was I thinking? That's not going to help. Let's do it this way. 5 times 3 is 15. 2 times 3 is 6. Now we have a common denominator of 15. And I add my numerators. 10 plus 6 is 16. I can do a little regrouping because 15 out of 15 will equal 1. And then I get 1 and 1/15 for a leftover. Can't reduce that one anymore. Again, uncommon denominators, so I'm going to be looking for something that they both have in common, and I'm thinking 24. Sometimes you'd multiply them together and get 48, but that's pretty big. They do have a common denominator of 24.
Hannah Horner, if you're in the building, would you please come
6
to the
times
office?
4 is 24.
Hannah Horner,
5
if you're in
times
the
4
building,
is
please
20,
come to the
so
office.
there's
Thank
my
you.
equivalent. 8 times 3 is 24. 5 times 3 is 15, so there's my equivalent. My denominator is 24, and I think that was a 20. 20 plus 15 is 35. I think that was 24. Okay. And I can take 24 out of 24 out, so then I get 1. And now I subtract 35. I need to do a little side subtraction over here. 35 minus 24, I'm having a hard time visualizing it, is 11 over 24. 1 and 11/24 for that one. Adding mixed numbers. Now these have common denominators, so we can just add our fraction first. Keep our denominator 5. Add our numerator. 3 plus 1 is 4. We can't reduce that at all, so we're ready for our whole number. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 and 4/5. This one, we'll add our half and our half, and we know a half and a half will equal a whole, but we can write it this way. Keep our denominator 2, and add our numerators. 1 plus 1 is 2. So we get 2 over 2, which is the same as 1, and then we add that to our whole number, and we get a final answer of 2. We're going to add our fractions first. Keep your denominator 4. Add your numerators. 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 over 4 is the same as 1. So now when I add my numerators, I've got 3 plus 2 plus that 1. 3, 4, 5, 6 for a final answer. This one, they left it as a mixed number, and we need to change it to a proper fraction. Fill in the missing number. So if I take 7 out of 7 out of that one, that would make my 5 into a 6. And I think that's where that numerator 5 came. So 12 minus 7 would leave me at 5. And then I know I keep the same denominator. So 6 and 5/7 for that one. This one, it looks like they must have subtracted 5 out of 5 and got that remainder of 3 and kept it 3 over 5. But my 7 now, I needed to add 1 more to it, so it became 8 and 3/5. 2 and 5/4, I could take 4 out of 4 out, and that would leave me 3 whole numbers, and I would get 1 left over after I subtracted that, so 3 and 1/4 for that one. This one, I could take 3 out of 3 out of that one, a whole number. That makes 4 plus 1 more whole number makes it 5, and 5 minus 3 is 2, so I get 5 and 2/3. This one, I can subtract 6, and then I get that 6 out of 6 makes my 12 into a 13, and when I subtract, I get a leftover of 5, so 13 and 5/6. 10 out of 10 comes out to make a whole number, so when I subtract 10, I get a leftover 3, 10 and 3/10 on that one. Add and write each sum as a mixed number in simplest form, so we're going to have to do a little reducing on this one. Thank goodness we have common denominators on all of them. Keep our denominator 3. Let's add our numerators. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 over 3, we can regroup here. Take 3 out, 3 out of 3 out, and I get a leftover 1, and I keep my denominator of 3. But now I had that whole number that I took out. 3 out of 3 makes this adding in another whole number. So I've got 3 plus 5 plus 1 makes it 9. 9 and 1/3. We're going to start by adding our numerators, or our denominators, our fractions. And 6 plus 4 is 10. So we're going to ask ourselves, how many 7s do I get? Or 10 if I subtract 7 and I get 3 left over. I keep my denominator the same as 7. But since I took 7 out of 7 out, I need to add that whole number over here. 4 plus 2 is 6, plus another one makes it 7. So 7 3/7 on that one. And our last one. Our denominator is 9. We'll add our numerators. 8 plus 4 will be 12. Let's do a little regrouping. So we'll subtract 9 on that one. 9, and then we get a leftover. When I subtract 9, I get 3. And I get 3/9. I can reduce that again and divide both of them by 3 over 3. And then I get 1/3. But I gotta remember my whole number. Remember when I took 9 out of 9 out, I have to add a whole number over here. So I've got 3 plus 6 is 9, plus another one is 10. So I end up with a final answer of 10 1/3. Thanks for working with me.